Hey guys, I'm back. So, if you just watched my last video, it was about the update on my back. But since I've been having some time on my hands, I've been listening to some podcasts. So I listened to one this morning, and it was a Rich Roll podcast, and he was interviewing Dan Buettner. And for those of you who know me, I love Dan Buettner. Now, he is a National Geographic fellow who coined the term the Blue Zones and wrote the Blue Zone book. And he has a new book out called The Blue Zone Kitchens. And if you don't know what a Blue Zone is, he coined the term Blue Zone. It's about like long-lived people, and he did this huge study about why people who live in these areas live longer than most other people. So there's 5 designated blue zones in the world. One is Okinawa, Japan, Loma Linda, California, Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, and what's the other one? In the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. And so in these places, these people live, there's the highest number of centenarians, so the highest number of people who live to 100, but not only just live to 100, they live to 100 without having heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and all the major top killers in the modern society. And so anyways, I was listening to this podcast that he was doing with Rich Roll and about how he came to make this book on the kitchens, because a lot of, it's not, certainly not everything, but a lot is what they eat that keeps them healthy that long. And I think we can all agree with what the standard American diet is not what these people in the blue zones are eating it. And it is the traditional diets of these places too, because a lot of these places like Okinawa, Japan now I think has the highest number of McDonald's restaurants per capita in the world. So it's not the 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds that are healthy. It's only the people that are over 80 that are making it to 100 and beyond, because they're still living in the traditional style, the traditional diet, this traditional lifestyle that they have always lived and what they do. So anyways, so Dan was saying that he was born, and I made some notes because it was almost a 2-hour podcast, but he said he was born with the curiosity and the, what did he say? The fascination with traditional livelihoods and indigenous people. And so he said when he spent the time in the blue zones, he wasn't just there for a quick story and to get out. And he, at one point, lived with a 102-year-old woman for 3 days. He moved into her little house for 3 days in Okinawa, Japan. And she would just sit, 102, she would sit on the floor on what they call a tatami mat. And he said she would get up and down like 40, 50 times a day, which is like doing squats at 102. And I'm laying here on the floor with my back and I'm thinking, Lord, they've got it figured out. So anyways, he said it's not all about food. These people have, all of these, like they have different words for it, but it's pretty much the same philosophy throughout all of these blue zones, right? It's community, it's food, it's moving, it's fluidity. And it's not just movement as in like I'm going to the gym today and running my ass off for an hour and then I'm not going to do anything for the rest of the day. These people are moving every 20 minutes because that's their lifestyle. They have to walk everywhere they go. They have to, they garden for their food. They need their own bread dough because they don't have, machines that need it for them, or they don't go to the store and buy their bread. They make their own bread. So they're using their muscles and they're moving and they keep that fluidity. If you've sat on the floor on a mat your whole life, you're going to continue to do that, right? It's when we start to stiffen up when we don't do that movement. So it's that continual movement that they have to do that keeps them, keeps their lymph system going, keeps all of that stuff, right? And we drain our lymphs, we drain all those toxins out all the time. And plus they're not putting in near the toxins that we are. One of the other things that they do is that they're hugely social. So they have these groups, and especially there's a word for it everywhere, but in Okinawa there's a word called the moai, and it's these groups that get together every day and they see each other every day. And if somebody doesn't show up, they go and find out why that person didn't show up. Are they sick? Are they not feeling well? Are they depressed? Whatever. And that sense of community, that sense of belonging, that sense of responsibility to each other, that keeps them living longer too, right? And the other main thing that they have is this sense of purpose. And in Okinawa, they call it the ikigai. And it's your sense of purpose. But Dan explained it as, he said, it's not just a sense of purpose, because we can all say we have a purpose. Okay, my purpose is to run a marathon. My purpose is to eat well. Okay, but your purpose, their ikigai or their purpose is very closely linked to responsibility. So it's altruistic. We want to, I want to eat well and grow a garden so I can teach my kids how important it is to grow your own food and eat healthy. Right? So you're doing this to teach, you're doing this as a responsibility of what you need to do. And those things are very intrinsically linked. And so that sense of purpose is more of a responsibility than it is just a purpose all unto your own, right? Like my purpose is to work hard so I can make the most money I can make. That's in America and in North America or in the Western world, that's what we want. Like, what's your purpose? I want to make money so I can live in a great house, so I can have a great car, so I can go on vacation. But it's all about me, me, me. And I'm not saying everybody's like that. I'm just saying generally, that's how we think. But they are always thinking altruistically, thinking about responsibility, thinking about, passing this on, so these traditions can be passed on and to other people. And I think that's a really great way of looking at it. So anyways, it was really interesting to listen to him talk about all these things and how he, spent so much time with these individuals in their houses to write this cookbook, because he said he didn't have them they don't have recipes, right? They just make this stuff. And they, so they go out to their garden and they get whatever they get and they make it. And so he, made copious amounts of notes and then had to come back, give those notes to his test kitchen people. And then because they don't have a tablespoon of this and a cup of that, they just made it. So then he had to have all those recipes made. So it's kind of a really cool process. It was awesome to listen to it. I don't know, I'm kind of geeking out on it because it's something that really interests me. It is one of my big bucket lists in my life, is to do a Blue Zone tour. And they do have culinary Blue Zone trips that you can do, but I would love to even just go to one of the Blue Zones. Like Sardinia, Italy would be awesome. I would love to go there, or the Nicoya Peninsula. It would be awesome. But anyways, I just wanted to pass that on because it was so kind of cool to listen to. I'm just kind of looking at my notes and seeing if there was anything else that I wanted to mention in that. I think I got everything. Yeah, I think I have everything in here that I wanted, that I had written down from that. But yeah, so anyways, if you ever want to read the first book, just Google, and actually I am going to get these 3 weeks off that the kids are off, I'm going to get one of my kids to build me a box to put on the side of our roadside stand. And I promise I'm going to get those books out there, but I haven't even made the list yet. But The Blue Zones is one of the books I have. And honestly, it was such an easy read. And it was my gateway book into health and longevity and living healthy, because I just loved that book. I loved it so much that I bought it on CD so I could listen to it in my car. And I still do. I've probably listened to it a dozen times. And sometimes I just put it in if I'm having a long road trip somewhere, and I just listen to it because I just love it. So anyways, it's called The Blue Zones. The 9, I don't know, there's a subtitle to it, but it's by Dan Buettner. And then his newest book that has just come out is called The Blue Zones Kitchens. So it's like amazing photography. And then on top of that, it's the recipes that these 100-year-old people are making in their kitchens. and living the traditional way. So it's really, really kind of interesting. So anyways, like I always say, keep growing your health, and don't forget to hit subscribe below, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hopefully the next time this video will be for the greenhouse. That's my biggest wish. Cross your fingers with me.